I did not record it, sorry. I did. Okay, let me open the file. Okay, so now when we look at this, let me turn off some. Okay. So first we have to try to form our forehead. So let me, now, oh, I couldn't finish. So frontal sinus. Let's see if I can. Frontal sinus. Pixel. Frontal sinus. So right here. Okay, and is this area that you need to have. I mean, you could combine two there too. It's kind of a little triangle. So you need to have it. And if I do a little more right here. Okay. So that plane, you need to have it. If it's like, it's really easy to not to have it, because now when you look at on the side, it will look like kind of like this. I exaggerate a little bit. So it's like has a slope in there. So, and then connected right here. And these are orbital bridge right there. That part. And then you have a the rim. And then you have the edge of the temporal bone right here on the forearm, on the frontal bone. So you need to have it. And then now the psychomatic right there, right? But on the psychomatic also has a where's psychomatic? Infrared forearm. Nope. Where did I put it? Right here. One more. Oh, that's another part. The upper part of the mandible, maxilla, is right there. It's really connect. It's kind of triangle. Here we go. And I'm gonna just fill it. I'm not saving. I'll do it another one. So you have to have that part too. It's actually a little wider. Right here. Okay. So that's the upper part of the maxilla that need to be presented there. So when you look at on the side, will look like this again, kind of like this on the side. So it's kind of getting in, like slide, angle it. Now, with this, because there's a muscle cover it. So now when you are able to identify that angle, you will be able to kind of mimic the surface wrapping around there and right here from the psychomatic there. Now, this part, mandible part, okay, the mandible is the whole thing. Let me turn off. That's the mandible, right? And then you have a mental foramen, which is part of the mandible. And why these are important, because can you see, if you look at right here, is create a concave end. So you will have to show off that the skin are dropping from there to connect to the it's called protuberance. It's really hard to pronounce right there. So that's the part of the bone that form the chin. So you have to have that, okay? And now for the orbital, we will talk about this later. For today, we're gonna just add skin wrapping around on the eyeball. The nose, we will talk about the detail with the lip, upper and lower part of the lip. We will talk about that next week. Also detail like the ridge on the nostril here, we will talk about that too. And then we will talk about the neck. So we're gonna start it to form the shape like this, okay? So now save this scene as, you can call different version, okay? So it might be a good idea we keep some of the original shape as is, so that we can use for checking our. So I'm gonna leave the forehead and the middle part of the face. So I'm gonna create a folder. Let's see. New folder. Okay. And I'm gonna just call BK backup. So, and you might need to left mouse drag and drop into the folder. Ear, and I have nose right there. And then, is it nose or what part is that? Oh, this might be extra. Okay, so, and then you can double click to collapse it. Let's put it inside the backup folder too. Maxilla, yes. And the part of the chin, put in there too. Okay, so now it look like this. And we're gonna collapse. Hey, where's the other ear? Did I shut it down by accident? Oh yeah, I turned off the maxilla. Come on, go in. There we go. Okay, so and now the skull you can put in the backup too. Okay. And you need to move the sub tool and drop over the folder. There we go. So now I have three sub tool, main sub tool, and one sub tool have 9 sub tools. Okay. So save again. You can use shortcut Control Shift T and just save it. Okay.
So everything but the face part
And yes, because we're gonna combine them. So we're gonna form that part first. Okay. Now, before, let's combine it right away. You can just select the 1 sub 2 on top and go to merge down and click OK. And I'm gonna save this as, again one more time, I'm gonna put head concept 2A. You can put any name you want. So now I could turn off the main BK folder to hide everything, just temporarily. And now let's form this. I also put a our D2L, hold on, contents, week 2. So now I want you to form this. We're going to focus on the forehead. So orbital rim right there, or orbital, these are superior orbital, and frontal sinus, can you see? Temporal ridge right there, and then frontal eminence. It's just a protrude, a little bit rounded on the frontal, but we will talk about this soon. Now, I want you to form this. These are simplified, just a plane. So you have a frontal eminence, and then these are brown. Part of the brown is just a round, big things right there. So now, can you see the frontal sinus? And then this part, what is that? I forgot the name. Hold on, one moment. I got to. It's really hard to the name. Not emus. Isthmus is right, really deep in there. We can just call the frontal sinus, connect to that, and then right in here is the emus bone, and right here, can you see, these are actually is a upper part of the maxilla. Right there, the one that I draw a triangle for it, when we look at right here. Right there. Triangle. Okay. So, oh, it's called lacrimal. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just watch video later. Okay.
Every time I try and save, ZBrush crashes.
Uh-oh.
Like it just did it twice.
Did you save right here?
I was just trying to save the project.
No, save, use this button. So it means you might have a bunch of stuff going on right here that cannot help. And where do you save it? On D drive or on your thumb drive?
On my hard drive.
That your hard drive is how big is it?
It's
Oh, it's big. Try to save on D drive first, because it could be that read and write are not fast enough, and just because of such a huge file, I think. So now, after you've done that, you need to redata match this, but do not put resolution too high. 128 is not enough. Let's do 250 or something. And then turn on data match and start it to soften it. The reason is when you soften, it's taking so long to soften it, so it means your resolution is too high. So just soften it quickly, turn on symmetrical, and then we're gonna fill up all the section. So now, what we try to form is, I want you to form this part right here. And can you see this is more minimalism right there. So cut through the orbital cavity, and then you just do like this. You don't have to cut all the hole yet, just all the way, and then we will add nose. Now when you look at on your top view, make sure you have a kind of ellipse shape on the brow. Look at under, should look like this. Focus on that. And this drawing is really excellent in terms of minimize everything. Can you see? is a little curve on the cyclomatic, and then flat, and then leave the chin out. So go ahead, try to form that, and use, hold on, let me move. Use all the brush that we have been using. Will help to speed things up. Now I don't use my pen because I want to show you that is possible. So if you have pen, use pen right here. If you don't, just mouse like mine. There we go. So now to add section here, you just use a clay buildup. Press S to access the brush, draw brush, and then smooth. You can trim it out using trim dynamics. Really, people who using mouse, make sure you keep going back and forth, changing the Z intensity. Now, might be faster if you press hold space bar because it's right here, Z intensity. So now try to mimic this. You can look at on a D12. Just mimic that drawing. It's really clear on this drawing. So how are you?
Even when I tried to save it to the drive, it crashed.
It crashed?
Yeah.
Let me look.
Yeah. Like, so I saved the tools.
It's probably such a high resolution here. Oh, it's only 100,000. So now let's go to save as. Oh, you already loaded.
So I loaded the entire project.
Yes, that's fine. Save as. Save as. No.
Oh yeah, I already saved it. That part's working fine.
Oh.
But just like trying to save the project in general is crashing.
So let's open the one that. This is not the one you want to save.
No, so I saved it as a tool already, but when I just went to straight up just like save the project.
So don't save the project. Just save the tool. I mean, you want to save the project when you have a lot of texture map on that you want to save. So if you don't need those, just save the tool. Don't save the project. I think it could. I have to really look at what really caused it. Could be just something simple things that we need to turn on. Yeah. But hey guys, people who are online too, I don't suggest you to use a under file save document, like save from here. I want you to use save tool only for this project. So that optimize crashing, because when you save the file, it will save the texture map from wherever you use for spotlight in lighting, texture, material, and a lot of things they will try to save. So that might be the problem. So now you need to look at on the bottom part of the head, see if it curves like this. Like really look. Okay. Just focus only on the basic form first. Don't go too fast yet. I mean, when you get a good form, everything will come together at the end. Okay. Now, you could also, like for example, if I want to make it a little faster, I can use move to and move. Also, flatten it. And don't worry about all the maxilla. Maxilla, we have a guideline later with the egg shape that we use. We're gonna bring it there. Right now, just focus on, I'm trying to trim and soft. And here we go. And then I'm gonna scrape off the, no, let's make the psychomatic a little more pronounced. Let me reduce the size of the brush. Oh no, the intensity. Not doing good there. There we go. And then soften it. Just want to show it's there. Okay. Okay, see, I just make it a little more pronounced. And this section, think about create a definition on the separation of psychomatic and the mandible, the jaw. So I leave the jaw, mandible. And this line, if I scrape it off a little bit, I just want to create a little more, oh, that's too big. Hold on. Intensity need to be full. These are a foramen, mental foramen is a part of the mandible. So you could kind of try to define a little bit to just show off is there. And hey guys, it might, when you see how I stroke the like to brush, it might look a little weird because I am using mouse, so I kind of stamping it, because with the pen, if you started, let's say you started with 4 intensity, if you press a lighter, will gradually transfer 4 to 1, right? But with mouse, if I choose 4, it's always 4, so I kind of stamp it. And just what I did is I figured out the pressure that I wanted. And when I stamp 1, I can multiply the second, the third. So I can't really do like this. I mean, I can, but it doesn't give that effect of a pin pressure sensitive. So I have to do like this instead. Like this part, I can stamp about 2-3 times or 4 or 5. The other part, I stamp only half of it, or 1. You know, it's just a little technique that you can use, a little tedious, but if you don't have a pen, that's the only way you could do. So people who still have pen, I have record, okay? So I know you have it, use it. And at the end of this semester, you will have to return it this time because we are on campus. And people who are on online, there are 2 packages that I don't know who did not pick up yet. The spray paint, sandpaper, and things like that. Here we go. So now, I like you to tap in on the upper part of the maxilla. That's this triangle. This one. Oops, sorry. this part. Just create a triangle. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can do triangle connect to the psychomatic also. So this triangle would be okay, like that. Okay, so at that, let me keep undo. So it means I'm gonna have to trim adaptive. Let me increase a little higher. There we go. Okay, that's it. It's not perfect, but smooth. There we go. The reason is that we want to exaggerate a little bit first, and then exaggerate a lot, and then we blend it off later, like to did I use the right word? Soften it later. Right now we just want it to see. It's just like you make a marker. Just mark the area that it need to, like a building foundation. Yes, that's the word. I think that's a better word. Building foundation before we add a little panel, add skin, because these are sculpting. So I'm gonna use clay buildup to add just a bit there, a little too much. So it means my intensity is too high. There we go. Yes, and then soften it. Here we go. Can you see triangle? So this section I have to squeeze in a little bit because I want to show off that it will show the maxilla later. There we go. So now I mean, when we already know that maxilla shape is like an egg shape, you kind of started to form a little bit now. I can use inflate to make this a little more inflate. Oh, I'm gonna have to reduce the intensity of inflate to be really low so that I can kind of lightly multiply it with my mouse. And don't forget, when you look at on a maxilla, the edge shape is, you can add a little height to the upper part of the nose wing, and then coming down, overlapping on the protuberance chin, the part of the chin, you know, like this. Let me draw it. So, so like this. Where am I? Oh, here we go. Oh, oh. You got the idea. It's like an egg shape. Should be a little wider, like here. Oh, getting worse. You got an idea. Okay. All right. So right there. Let me look at on the side. So it can be a little more protrude. I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit. There we go. All right. So look like this, and you can add the protuberance. So you can use a inflated smaller brush right there. Just add it. There we go. Can you see? This might be a little too big on the maxilla. If it's too big, just move. Okay. I'm gonna create a little angle on the metal foramen of the mandible, which is this area. It's basically, it's kind of a little concave in and then connect to the teeth, part of the base of the teeth. So it looks like this. I just exaggerate a little bit so it looks really scully looking. And now this will be the ear, base of the ears. So now, see, I have a little shape of the temporal bone, the part of the temple, neck right here. So I'm gonna craft this in a bit. I can use trim adaptive. Just slide it to cut it in like that. Just want to kind of exaggerate a little bit so that when we add skin on it, it will look like it's wrapping on those bone and the muscle. So, and trim dynamics, you might have to change the angle to trim in the angle that you desire to do. So orbital ridge, I kind of create a little bit right here. Can you see right that area? I'm gonna trim this a little bit on the frontal. There we go. You can do like this too, exaggerate a little bit, but not too much. Can you see? I just trim that so that I can create a frontal bump. It's a bump on the frontal bone. And I'm gonna scrape this off a bit because I wanted to emphasize a frontal sinus right there. Just emphasize a little bit. You can add a little angle just to make it looks like it's there. You can subtle it. Oh, that's the word, subtle. Yeah, I keep thinking about what word is soften it. Subtle, yes. See, I just add a little bit. Now, it depends on the person. It seems like Asian has bigger that part, like me. Caucasian, it seems like a little subtle, more angle, not bump. Asians and Iceland people has a lot of bump on that. See, because this called superior orbital is kind of like this. Let me exaggerate a little bit on this part. And don't worry if you don't know the name of it. Hold on one moment. Let me reduce this. I wanted to show the landmark of the superior orbital. Can you guys see? I just exaggerate a little bit. Now, let's save. Control Shift T. Let me see.
So like, I realized like when I was looking at the computer, it wasn't even on the outside.
Oh, you can mirror them. So right now, which side that you touch on?
I'm touching up to this side, but then like if I come over here, you see it's like different.
It's not okay. Undo. Okay. Now let's go to geometry. Oh no. Geometry. Yes, geometry, and then modify topology and mirror well. Yes. Click on it. Okay. So now test it. See. Here we go. Oh, now. Hey guys, if you accidentally forgot to turn the symmetry on, this is what you can do. You make decision which one do you want to keep, which side. If I want to keep the right side, I cannot mirror it. I have to mirror the whole thing. Can you look at on my screen quick? I'm gonna try this, just to show it to you. Let me turn that off. Let me make something obvious. Hey guys, can you look at on my screen? Just, here we go. Let's pretend I forgot to turn on symmetry. And this is what I wanted. Now, in ZBrush, under Modify Topology, if I click Mirror and Wheel, I'll get this. It will mirror the left side and wheel it and merge it into the right side. So in this case, it's not what I want. I want to keep this, but I want two of them. So what I can do though, I can go to deformation, mirror it to the X direction. So it means I reverse it. Can you see? Reverse to the left. And then now I can go to modify topology and modify topology and mirror and wheel. Now I got two. So that's it. Things to go around, to work around it. Now, when you do this, this is why I put a light preview control navigator right here, because I can move my light to see. I want it to move to the top because I really want to see that deep, the depth of your orbital bone, that kind of slope in. You should see a lot of shadow right here, because later on when we add eyes, we will see it on the frontal sinus. Really, we want a very pronounced concave in. Can you see? And now you can see on my psychomatic, it's really angled inside on the bottom part. So while you do sculpting, and this is like if you do a real sculpture, you have to use lamp or light or flashlight to shine your surface to see. So this is how you check the definition. So like that. When you're done, you just move it back to font. Sometimes you might want to see like forward font because you want to see the depth of your orbital bridge, orbital ridge, and other things. Like now, when you look at on the reference, it's actually, can you see right here? These are stylized. If you look at it, the psychomatic are a little more kind of over it right here. I want to draw, hold on. Right here. And this is the orbital ridge. So it's kind of curved like this. So you want to show off it's there. So it means I'm gonna have to move right here to an X, okay, and just a bit. Mine is just still too big. So too thick. Here we go. Just to show off it's there. And now can you see when we look at all the angles, it looks like that. Because later when we started to put the skin on it, it's kind of gonna blend a little bit like this. Let me show it to you. When we blend it, here we go. So it looks like it wrapped. You will see it, and then this section will be more filled. So, but we want to show that it's there. There's a bone there. Okay. Now, the orbital bridge, mine is too thick. It should be, if you look at on the side, it should be right around here. It's not big. It's really thin. So I'm gonna have to use move tool instead on the side view. Now, you might see this time I can't see it. So I have to move my light. Here we go. Now I can see it. So now I can move it. So yes, one moment. Let me grab that. I'm gonna move it in closer. And you might need to scrape it off just a bit and then touch it up. So it look like a little exaggerated. Here we go. So now, can you see? Let me save and then I'll help. Anybody need help? People who are online, how are you doing? Good. So you probably just watched, right? Okay. But okay. Hold on.
You just auto-save and crash all of it, so.
Um.
So I'm back to screen.
Oh. Can you okay. How about this? Let me look.
So you have only that, yeah, I was up to that point, and then
It's just
it
crashed.
did the auto-save, and it did the same thing like
Oh,
that.
can you go to you said this one, right?
This one, yeah, this is it.
So can you go to the preference and initial? Okay. And now lower two. And then bring down. Okay. Now I want you to export only this. So go to tool, something, and highlight that layer. Okay. And then go to floor, top on the menu of the tool of the floor. Floor it. Okay. Now go to clone object. Click on the clone. No, you see this one. Click on it. You click on it. You click it. Click it left now. Yeah. Oh, it's already there. Hold on. So it's the other one then. Yep. Here we go. Okay. Save as using tool. And save that. You can call the new version or something like that so that you know that this is new. Now, when you want those folders to come back, you kind of have to keep doing this. So this one will be the one that you work from now on. So at this point, go to initial reference, initial again one more time to clean all the memory, and then load the new one and work from here, and then save out. Hopefully, it's not crash anymore. We'll see. Yes. It must be some memory things that ZBrush try to figure out. Oh, because you are on Spotlight. So now Spotlight, what it does is try to sample the picture. So you have to go to Brush, menu, Brush menu, yes, and sample, yes, uncheck that, that's it. Now it's good. Anybody else? Oh, that's good. Alright. So now what you have is started to add a nozzle bone. So now you make sure look at on you can use I mean if you have these backup, this is what you can do. Get the nozzle shape that you have, just duplicate this one. Duplicate it, okay, and then move it outside. So you might have to click and drag until it get off from the folder, and then you can collapse the folder, okay. You might need to click on the folder and check, see if your nozzle are off. It has to be off. Oh, I have two of them already. So now, at this moment, I would try to reduce my height because I want to leave the frontal sinus. So I'm gonna just use move to move this a little bit down. There we go. So, okay. And somehow it's not symmetry, no problem. I'm gonna mirror and wheel under geometry and modify topology, mirror and wheel, here we go, and then touch up. Okay. I am on really low segment, so it's time to bring it up. Just redynamesh with higher numbers. Dynamesh, here we go. Let's do 180. Well, 200 might be okay. There we go. Okay, I could do a little more. Let's do 250. It's gonna be a little high detail. There we go. So now we are not going to talk about the anatomy of the nose yet, but let's form kind of nose wing, the bottom triangle, kind of a little triangle. Just form it for now. We will come back. So, and we will have to bring the eyeball. We need to see the eyeball. So this time we are not only do the nostril bone, we also do the ridge or the skin part of the nostril. So there we go. And when you look at on-site view, I want you to try to get kind of looks like a triangle shape a little bit, just to prepare. Okay, just to prepare. Now, let's bring back the eyeball. So I probably have to, these are up to you. You can move the eyeball off the folder. I'm gonna move it off the folder. Because everything inside my sub2 folder will be hidden. That's why I want to move. I mean, some of you might feel like, oh, well, I'm gonna just move all of them. That's fine too. Now, there's another thing is on the maxilla right here, to activate your sub2, you just hold Alt and click. This section need to be pushed inward a little bit right here. So can you see it look like this? It has to be inward a little bit. I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit more. Right here. Can you see? Okay. So, I mean, the reason is because of this part of the muscle right here. It's actually rounded, but then we have a skin, a little fat, connect the wrap over the nostril bone and drop it down. So it will have a curve right here. It will have a curve. So it means we need to identify by put a little marker right there or landmark. So this is still in exaggerated state. Now I could see that I move the orbital ridge or orbital superior orbital or on the side of it is too close to the eyeball. I might have to move it out. No, I'm gonna move it out just a bit, just a little bit. Let me make definition right there, just a bit. Right now, just create a definition the separation of the orbital bone, part of the orbital bone, and you need to add a bit that orbital bone, no, psychomatic, it connect right here. I mean, when you have this section, you can play around a little bit by when the skin are concave in, and then reversal and wrap the lower eyelid. You will have that effect. And let me exaggerate the superior orbital a little bit, because later on skin will cover this, of course, but want to show the form. And can you see, because of the light is allow us to look the three-dimensional of detail of the part. Here we go. So we're gonna scrape this part a little bit. Let's do 3 brush size smaller. Here we go. Too small. Let me exaggerate this part even more so that you really see a bump on the forehead above the brow. Let me tap because of the brush. Not enough. I might need to use light. Put it on the top of the head. Here we go. Hey guys, to reverse the light, you click on the ball shape. It will reverse back and or front or back. So once again, we are not do realism, we are do stylize, because we wanted to abstract the form of the head anatomy. Can you see? I exaggerate a little bit, like a big bump. It's not that big, but I think mine is kind of. But there we go. So let's scrape one more scrape there. I really want to show it off that that part is there. Here we go. A little too much, but well, let me move. All right. It's a bit much, but you got an idea. Maybe I can slide it, trim it, scrape it off, trim. There we go. Can you see? Look like this. Okay. So use light to check. How about on the side? Here we go. See, on the side I can see a little bit. Not pronounced, so let's play. That's enough. Okay. Now you can see it more now. Okay. Now I can see my mandible to. Oh, time to turn on perspective. Forgot about that, because if we see. It looked kind of okay without perspective, but then when perspective, it looks kind of out proportion a little bit. One thing though, underdraw might be because of it's 50. So 85, millimeter camera would be better. So it means I will have to move the mandible right there, because I want it to be not too square. Okay. Let me change. All right. And I think my upper maxilla is incorrect. It needs to be thinner. There we go. And can you see when you rotate it's about 45 degrees, it should look like this shape. It's really important. And can you see the orbital bone? It should kind of angle in. Am I said right? So angle in. This is a little too thin, but that's okay because we're going to touch up. Now 30 degree look like this. There we go. I think the nose is a little too small at the moment. Click, alt click. Yep. The nose is a little, I think my eyeball is a little too forward. So you will have to move the eyeball. So, hey guys, what about this? There are two eyeballs, right? What if you wanted to move both of them together? You really cannot do that if we don't use a transpose to, optional transpose to. But I can show you a little bit of trick. Oh, what did I do about that? Okay. How did I get that part messed up like that? Oh well, it's okay. So, can you look at on my screen quick? This is a little trick. I can merge the eyeball together by select the top subtool of the eyeball, and then I merge down, click OK. So now there are two elements in subtool, but when I switch to move, I can move them both. Can you see? It needs to be, if you remember, you want a little angle inward from the brow or the frontal sinus, a little angle into the eye and touch the cheekbone or the zygomatic. So it means these would be the base level of the eyeball. Now I can go back to my the structure of the face, and I can move my, it makes some adjustment on the zygomatic, so that is a little angle like this. There we go. Okay, so that they kind of parallel to the direction, angle direction for the frontal sinus and orbital. And can you see the orbital ridge shape is kind of angled also? So look like this. Now the eyeball might be too big, because if you remember, now we are on perspective though, that's the problem. If you look at on the size of the eyeball, will be one here, 2 and 3 there, right? So if I use my finger, it's obviously not quite yet, but we don't have an ear yet. It's just because of the angle, the camera angle, not camera angle, sorry, camera perspective. So you might need to increase the back side of the head a little more wider, basically. Or you could round on the temple a little bit using inflate. Round right here a little bit, so that it's kind of, here we go. That's okay. And now let's put a landmark on the mouth. I'm going to use Damien standard brush. You might want to bring back the skull, but this time I'm going to show you what if we don't have skull. So I'm going to mark the head right there. Don't mark it too deep, something that we can see. So this will be a hairline. So I use my finger. I don't know if you guys see on. Let me switch the camera quick. I use my finger. People who are online, can you see? I use my finger, and then I just make sure like this on my screen, you know, like that. With the brow, and then from the brow to the bottom of the nose, I could see that my bottom of the nose is too long. So my proportion is incorrect. And then the bottom of the nose will be on the chin. So these parts are too long compared to that. What I can do is I can make a little adjustment on the top of the head. So once again, let's say if this is the measurement to the brow, so the nose will be right here. It's too far, and then from the nose to the chin is too far also. Now you saw it. So let me see. There we go. So I'm gonna switch the camera again. Okay, so now I'm gonna make adjustment. Let me do, this is the brow right there. So it means when I put the finger, it has to be right here, my nose. It's too low. There we go. And then the chin is right there. Wow, it's really off. Can you see it's really off? It's so easy to make a mistake. Let me check my skull. Skull. Actually, the skull are almost correct. No, from the bottom, it's just the head. That was it. So I think I probably calculated from here. It's a little, yeah, it's a little off. Can you see this is a little low? Chin is okay. So, and the brow is right here, not up there. That's what my mistake was. Here we go. Okay, let me go back and touch up. So, I'm gonna move the whole thing down a little bit. Just only the whole right there. Here we go. Hey guys, instead of I reduce it, I just extend the butt of the top part so that they kind of match. One, almost, that's too far. So now the nose needs to go up. There we go. And I think, oh, nose part on. Gotta go down more. Let's see if I could get it again. Let me make sure. One there. The nose, perfect. That's correct. Let me, and then from the nose to here. So I'm gonna shrink the chin. So if I do that, it's kind of a change the proportion to the skull, so it'll be a little shorter than the skull. Then that's okay. I can live with that. All right, that's it. Now I settle those lines. Here we go. So a little better proportion. So I think, okay. So now let's put the nose, merge it down to the head. So I'm gonna grab the head because my head is on the top, merge down, click OK. Now you can read in a mesh, touch up the nose so that it looks like a part of it. Okay, so I think my nose can be higher. I'm gonna use move brush, and move a little bit, change the size, move it up high, here we go. Okay. So now we got the nose in. Let's add the eyelid. I could see that my eyeballs a little too far apart with this model. So I'm gonna go back to my eyeball here. I merged them down, right? So I could scale them. Here we go. And move. Oh, no. Let's go back and move individually. So I'm gonna separate these two elements. So it's kind of a go backward a little bit. So I'm gonna go to geometry. Oh, no, subtool, sorry. Subtool. And we gonna do a, where am I? Subtool. Hey. Oh, split. Sorry, not split. Split. Group split. So it means. Oh, sorry. My bad. No. Cancel. Not group split. Split two parts. So that they become two subtool. Here we go. And one is off. Actually, I'm gonna turn off, delete the right one because we want symmetrical. So I select the right one and delete, and then I'm gonna turn on move and then move a little bit. So I'm gonna use my finger again to measure the width. 1, 2, so perfect. I think that's good. Now I can duplicate this. So I'm gonna go to duplicate. Now I got two of them together, and then one of them I'm gonna mirror it under deform, mirror, and let's come back. So save. Oops. Control Shift T. This time I'm gonna save number 2B, just in case. Oh, Zach, did you try to save?
No, I don't want it to crash again because I was following along after the last edits.
How about this? Just in case, can you export them? Go to a clone them. Just clone it.
Oh, the tools? No, I've already saved the tools. They say fine.
Oh, good. So it will go. Oh, good now. So now, hey guys, the eyelid. Okay. I like you to create a separate surface for now because so that we we can talk about the construction of it. So you can go ahead, insert another sub-tool, under sub-tool, insert, and just insert sphere. Or you can just duplicate how about duplicate the eyes? Just the left side. So duplicate, and this one, you're gonna make it bigger. So I'm gonna press T, press move, and I'm gonna reset, uncenter, unmask. So this is what you need to do when you do that. Hold on. Can you see if I hold Alt key, it's unlock. You need to unlock it, and then center, unmask will center it. And then now you can release the Alt so that it's not unlocked anymore. Scale it. There we go. You might need to turn on transparency so that you can see. You want it to be a little bigger than eyeball. There we go. And it's actually on the center, but because of the placement, we need to move it down. We want it to be kind of covering the eyeball. Oh, hold on. Have to move scale uniformly. There we go. Gonna make it bigger. Make sure you turn on transparency so that you can see it. I just want you to see it. Can you see? And it's perfectly centered, but these gonna be skin, so we don't want perfect center to the eyeball. We just want them to wrap it over the eyeball. There we go. So turn off transparency. Obviously it's too big. I can just move it in. There we go. You might need to turn on transparency again. You want to see it. So basically, I wanted to cover the upper part just a bit thin. Lower part you can do thicker because there's a psychomatic bone that will wrap it around. I mean, well, hold on. Let's just make it similar for now so that's easy to explain. Right here. Make sure it's covered. A little bigger is fine. Turn off. It looks like this. Okay. So, and when you're ready, you could go to side view. Let's solo transparency again one more time. I want you to trim, or not trim, clip it. So I'm gonna just Control Shift, click on the brush, clip curve, and then go ahead, clip. I want, let's say that will be the upper eyelid. I mean, if you get confused on here, you just cut one upper eyelid, the other lower eyelid. So I'm gonna just double tap Alt so that you get like this. Double tap Alt and cut. So it's open it up now, and let's turn the transparency off. It look like this. For now, doesn't look great, but it's okay. Redynamash this. Control drag. There we go. I think it's, let me undo. My Dynamash is too low. What time is it? Okay. So I'm gonna increase to 250 or 200, something like that. Redynamash. Here we go. And subtle soften it. Right there. Oh, actually 200 is not enough because I can see it's so, so like what do you call fractured. So I think because of detail, let's do 400. If 400 give you a little hard time to smooth, reduce it. Mine is good. Okay. So now we want to squeeze the tear duct. So can you see this is look like it's wrapped. It's really wrapped on the eyeball. We want that. So using move, you may need to turn on transparency, and I want you to kind of move this section forward to get started, that will be a tear duct. There we go. And you don't have to do it perfect, it's just roughly. And maintain that curve on from the center of the eyeball. Maintain the curve. Okay. Turn off transparency. Can you see it look like this at the moment? So, and I'm gonna make adjustment. So now at this point you might want to look at on the eye shape, how it really look like using a just grab image from internet. I already know, so I kind of just with my memory from the actual reference, because I've done it before. So can you see? You give a little tear duct, and right now what you're trying to do is you try to focus that this part of the skin is wrapping on the eyeball. Ignore about the actual blended yet. Just focus on wrapping the eyeball. And this has to come out. Let me turn on transparency. This has to come out on the edge. Don't worry about perfection. Just quickly get it. Smoothing it. And turn off transparency to see. Here we go. So now this section is too far. It need to touch. Oops. Need to touch the edge of the eyeball, of course. There we go. Because it's wrapping, right? So I'm gonna smooth, there we go, and go to the side and do like this. Just take a little bit of time. I done it before, so I kind of a little quicker than yours, so don't worry about that. Just take your time when you do on your own. Smooth it often. Now right here though, there's a little tip. You want the upper eyelid to look like a little bit of, what do you call, overlap on top of the lower eyelid, just a little bit, so that we can see the separation. Now, my resolution is not enough. I have to bring it up to 500 instead. So now if I make a little landmark right here, see, just a little bit. Don't do too much because it's not really pronounced. However, if you do comic style or something like that, you really exaggerate it. You can, so that it looks like it's there. And then when older people, I will be that one soon, this one will overlap even more and started to drop based on the gravity. So, oops, too much. Okay. And then one more thing. And then we're gonna just leave it like this. We come back and touch up. You can play around by combine them together. Make sure you save into different scene, different tool, and then you touch up by add section here. But you can also wait until next week. So now, if you like, just want to see the preview on two sides, you could select that eyelid, duplicate, and mirror it using under deformation. Okay, so just temporarily, because we will have to do only once. So now let's save this again. I'm gonna save first and then resave as number C. So so that I can go back and forth if I make some mistake. Now let's look at on the mouth. The mouth, you're gonna create the shape that wrap around maxilla. It has to wrap around maxilla, otherwise will look flat. Let me scrape this a little more. Oops, sorry. I want this to be rounder. Okay. Oop. Hold on, I will stop soon. Okay, so you can just start it with sphere again, quicker. Separate sub 2 for now. We don't merge them together yet. We will. Did I just undo until I don't see my, where's my eyelid? The other side is gone. What? Where is it? Hold on, let me duplicate again. I don't know how did I delete it. Oh no, it's there. Weird. Oh, I undo until past mirror. Here we go. So, okay. Save again. I accidentally make a mistake. So now, let's insert another sphere or duplicate some of the eyes. How about duplicate the eyes because it's already there, so that we don't have to convert to Dynamesh again. Duplicate, turn on move to, and just move. Oh, now the problem with the duplicate is it stays in the same location, right? Well, let me reset the center. Okay. And I'm gonna move it. I need to turn on floor so that I can see, turn off perspective a little bit. And on floor, you might need to turn on Z direction, right here, floor, Z. And then move that so that then later, you might need to turn on no, you might need to hide the face because it's blocking my line. So you want the line to be on the center line like this. Can you see? I am still off. 0.001. No big deal. Just move a little bit. Turn that back on. Switch to Q. Q is draw. Now let's mirror and wheel to make sure they are symmetric. That's it. Just to make sure it will become symmetrical. Mirror and wheel. Here we go. So now it's symmetrical again. You can press X to turn on symmetry. Go ahead, move to form the shape of the mouth. There we go. And is it raining outside? Oh no, just wind. Okay. Almost done, guys. Almost done for the lecture today. Hold on. There we go. So I'm gonna just form the shape. Okay, and then now we have to make it round. So you can turn off the floor now. Wrapping around, always wrapping around. And the good things about when we put the foundation on it, we can make a lot of adjustment later. Okay, so look a little awkward, no problem. Look at on the side view. You might need to move this in. There we go. And then I'm gonna go back to make a little more adjustment right there. There we go. And now I can see one thing, my maxilla is too round on the bottom. Before you do that, don't forget the placement of the mouse. So you calculate it by look at under nose, right here, right under nose. Okay, the nose. So halfway on the bottom of the lip. So halfway from there to here. So it means the lip are too low. I need to move it up. Here we go. Halfway, so right there, you might need to use your finger to measure again. Oops, still too high, too low. Here we go. That's it. Now, I need to go back to make adjustment on my maxilla because it does not show the level, the definition of the protuberance bone right there. So need to move it. There we go. And I'm gonna turn on a perspective. So I'm going to exaggerate a little bit because I want to really see the separation of it. Here we go. Now I can soften it. All right. So now look at on the side view. Basically, what you're trying to do is, beside the, well, hold on. Let's start it to kind of mimic the separation of the lower lip. Oh, here we go. Okay. I am not cutting it good at all because of my using mouse. How about just cut it like that for now? Okay. So, like this. So, what I need to do is, you need to changing the level of the upper lip will be a little, looks like a cap to the lower lip. So, I'm gonna just move in like this. I better to do using a trim Damien standard brush and then cut it deep. Cut it deep. Just to get started. Now I'm gonna move to create some kind of step to the lower lip. I'm going to use a clay build-up instead and then trim it. So I'm going to build that up. And I use really low because I didn't use pen. Hey guys, if you have pen in here, I don't see you use it. Like Zach used to have pen, right? The monitor is.
It's hard for me to use brushes. I don't have like one of the big centimeters.
Oh, okay. Got you. No, that's
It's
perfectly
just,
fine.
it's too small.
Yeah, that's understandable. So, right now we don't separate piece of the mouth. Top and bottom still the same piece. So it means on this project, you most likely will do a closed mouth. Next project, if you want to open it, I can show you how to do it. So once again, guys, when you get a base shape, like a base model on your head, you can use this for your project one. This is just an exercise, or you can just start it, do more, modify from in-class exercise for your project one is fine. So I'm gonna pinch it a little bit. The pinch is too high. pinch, so that they come a little closer. Like crease, I wanted to create crease. Now I can pinch only there. Alright. I want this side to be a little more sharper for now. And then upper lip, a lot of work to do. Gonna flat this. So it look like this. And obviously need to squeeze this in by pinching it. Oop, not moving. I want pinch. There we go. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna pinch the edge right there. Might need to increase pinch a little more. Okay, I try to do it quick. Dynamash. Oh, Dynamash need to be really high. How about 500 on the lid? Yep, there we go. Oop. Want to pinch more. Pinch. That one cannot be pinched. Okay, so now I'm gonna move. Try to form the shape. Okay. Now, this part we will come back, okay? This is good enough because we will come back and talk about the structure of the lid. Okay. So, might look a little awkward because it's so small. Yeah. Let's make it wider. Here we go. For now, that's it for today. And if you like, go ahead, touch up, make it looks, just play around. And then we will make it looks pretty later, next week. Okay. So that's it for today. Let's do a snapshot so that we can compare, see the progress from beginning to the end. Let me get a little nicer light. Okay. So I'd like you to do screen cap, snapshot. Shift S, move. See more angle. It's like case study. And then you can, there we go. Maybe. Okay. Oh. Shift S, move again. I turn on perspective. Make sure you turn on perspective because we want to see in three-dimensional. Shift S. Otherwise, when we print it out, it will look more flat, more flatter than it's supposed to. Now I can see that my frontal sinus and orbital are not round enough. It's just too bony to the side. Can you see right there? Like here, too bony. I need to make it look not look like this. See, curve. So So I will do that later, not now. Let me focus on snap. This is why we wanted to see more angle as much as we could. And look at on the back side. Back side, this is good. Can you see? You get back side when you turn. Here we go. We want to see the brow and the superior orbital with the orbital ridge, and then the zygomatic, the jawline. We want to see like this. Once again, this is still exaggeration. Shift this. And let's look at from the bottom too. Now, can you see we can identify where the mandible is and where the zygomatic and the orbital, the temporal bone, we can see them. So, and the last one will be on the side profile. All right, Shift S. Now to export Screencap, grab. You go to texture again and then grab dark. You need to Shift S all of the snapshot, otherwise it will grab only things that you Shift S. So, and after you grab will be right here, you can just export right away because it's already selected. Export, change to JPEG, and I'm gonna save in progress. Screen grab 3, now 4. There we go. And then if you need to trim, go ahead. And so I like you to post on the discussion group exercise in class exercise 2 by Tuesday of next week. Okay, so now I'm gonna save and I'm done. So we're done for now. And the rest of the time, whatever you like to do, make sure you get it presented and post it on next section. So I'm gonna save to C again. Okay. So let me stop the video and I will go downstairs to upload this video.